Hey, Rockets, Metalheads out there. It's Herman Frank speaking. You listen to Cuero Metal Radio. And I present my new album, Gods of Tomorrow of Victory.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches tengan todos y sean bienvenidos a un nuevo video en el canal de YouTube de Cuero y Metal en Córdoba. No dejen de suscribirse para estar al tanto de todo nuestro contenido. En el día de hoy tenemos como invitado un emblemático guitarrista para la historia del heavy metal. Estamos comunicados con Herman Frank para hablar sobre el regreso de Victory en la escena. Herman, how are you? Welcome to Cuero y Metal en Córdoba again.
I'm fine, thank you, pretty well. How are you? I hope you guys are all right.
Fine, thanks. El 30 aniversario de Culture Kill the Native y Temples of Gold fueron como el puntapié inicial para esta nueva etapa de Victory. ¿Cómo surgió la idea de volver a armar este proyecto con nuevos músicos?
Actually, so many people ask me about past decades. Hey, why don't you do another Victory album and go on with Victory and blah, 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 like that. And so finally I found, I told this before, I guess, 2 years ago, Johnny Pontillo, I met him on a festival and he seemed to be the perfect singer for the Victory thing, because his voice reminds me on Jotti's and Fernando's voice and Charlie Huhn voice, and he's able to sing all the old classics. So we first of all we planned just to do a 30th anniversary shows of Culture Kill the Native and Temples of Gold, and we just started one festival, and then a week later Corona showed up. So everybody was quite down and a little bit depressed. But then we said to ourselves, "Oh, let's take this time out to come with a new album. We wanted to do this anyway," and so we started writing songs. And finally, 4 weeks ago, we released the new album, Gods of Tomorrow.
¿Sentís que ha servido de inspiración el poder tocar con músicos más jóvenes en esta etapa de Victory? Hablo desde renovar las ganas de salir a rockear, como así también compositivamente dentro de un estudio.
It's definitely a different situation, a different kind of feeling. Let's put it this way: all the new musicians, they are very excited. They are fresh. They're younger. They're not so tired and not so lazy. So it's easier to come up with some new tunes, and they pretty liked it in the studio. They gave everything, and I guess you can hear it in the new record. It sounds so fresh and so kind of like wild and really modern, and so I'm really proud that I do have a new couple of I do have new members in the band.
Bien. Herman, a pesar de aún estar inmersos en una pandemia, te has mantenido muy ocupado últimamente. En primer lugar, con la salida de Two for a Light, tu nuevo álbum en solitario, y por otro lado, con la publicación de God of Tomorrow. ¿Cómo ha sido para vos mantenerte tan activo en estos proyectos en medio de una situación tan especial que vive el mundo desde hace 2 años?
Actually, I guess I would have released all the 2 albums then. Without the COVID thing anyway. I mean, we had the Two for a Lie was planned for a long time, and record companies say, "Hey, don't wait for this album any longer. It's a very good album, so just release it. you might promote it later on." So it's gonna be a year later, obviously. Maybe I go for a tour. It's planned in May 22 next year. Yeah, already forget. So I go with Two for a Lie and Herman Frank in May on tour, and right now with Victory we are planning a tour, or we planned the tour end of January. We will see what's gonna happen. I mean, the cases are not that good in Germany. Over here the situation is going pretty bad these days. So nobody knows what's going on for the next year. But anyway, in between the nearly now 2 years of the break for COVID, actually I was quite happy that I got something to do. And for a reason, if I couldn't show up in my studio and work by my own, I would have been quite depressed, and would have been went crazy totally.
Uh-huh. Hace 20 días aproximadamente publicaste el nuevo disco de Victory, el sucesor de Don't Talk Science, vía AFM Records. ¿Cómo han sentido la banda en general la recepción del público y de la prensa desde la salida de God of Tomorrow?
Everybody is quite exciting about the new album. We got reviews 10 out of 10 a couple of times. We had been ranked for second best album a month and stuff like that. So it seems that people really like this album, and all of them says that the album reminds them very strong on the successful Victory album, Culture Kid to Native, and it seems it has the same vibes, the same feeling, the same space, the same whatever. And so I'm really proud about this product, because I was a little bit nervous to before the release date, how people gonna react, But all over, I'm very proud of this, and people are going crazy about the new album.
En Two for a Lie escuchamos una faceta mucho más pesada que con God of Tomorrow. Sin embargo, este nuevo trabajo discográfico de Victory, como dice Herman en este momento, rememora las primeras épocas de este grupo con ese hard rock bien crudo. ¿Qué podés decirnos, Herman, sobre este disco musicalmente hablando, digamos?
Actually, I wanted to produce it in this way, and yeah, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a little bit more heavy because of God of Tomorrow." That's just one song, and I really wanted to do this song because it's a little bit more heavy and a little bit faster. So I didn't came up with a ballad because I didn't have any idea for the ballad. So I decided myself, instead of a ballad, go for a fast song. Let's see how people like this. But actually, this is one of my favorite songs, and in this particular song, you feel this wildness, and it's played like you're doing a live show. Actually, I wanted to produce the whole album like in a way of a live concert, or if you do the songs live. I do hate overproducing all the songs, and I try to record them in the way I would perform them live. So, all in all, I don't think that much when I'm starting writing an album. I just start with one song, the next song, and after 3 or 4 songs, you might find a red line in this whole thing, and then you have to stick to it, and then the work starts, because then you come up with so many ideas and so many songs, and the worst part is to skip at least 10 songs. I had to skip because there was only space for 13, 14 songs, and record company would have been freaked out if I would have come up with an album of 20 songs, and that would be too much anyway. So the most difficult decision was to sort out which song is gonna go for Magnetic Heaven. I call the disc Magnetic Heaven, and if a song doesn't make it on the album, I'm gonna erase them anyway.
Bien. Herman, el arte de tapa de este nuevo disco es muchísimo más futurista comparado con los clásicos álbumes de Victory. ¿Qué quisieron representar con esta mujer robot que figura en la portada?
I mean, as the title of the album says, Gods of Tomorrow, and it came into my mind, this kind of like scene, and Kai Swillis worked it out, that I said, hey, if the album is called Gods of Tomorrow, you have to come up with some futuristic scene or something. So I think it fits perfectly to the cover. And as the album says, or the title says, in the future, we have to be the gods of tomorrow. I don't think that somebody out of space will tell us which way we're gonna have to go to solve all the problems or to survive or what's going to be in 100 years. So everybody we have to take care about this all by ourselves. So that's why we should be the gods of tomorrow. And the album cover is just good for a t-shirt.
Centrándonos en las canciones incluidas en este God of Tomorrow, podemos decir que Gianni, Mike, Frederick y Michael han hecho un gran trabajo a tu lado. Siendo el alma mater de esta nueva etapa de Victory, ¿se logró el resultado que vos esperabas con este nuevo disco?
Oh yeah, they had been that hard for recording, and the funny story is, I mean, we had to record this album during COVID, so I flew the boys in. We got tested before we entered the studio, and the good thing was I got the key for the studio. So when everybody entered the studio, I locked the door. So everybody the flats had been upstairs in the first floor, so nobody could leave for I guess about 16, 18 days. So they had been forced to work just as much as they can, and so nobody spent any time in bars or got a hangover for the next day. So everybody was working his ass off, and I guess maybe that's the reason why we had been forced to stick together for a couple of weeks. We came up with this result, and the only problem was we had to write every day a mail or what kind of food we want to have tomorrow. A friend brought it over, put it down in front of the door. We picked it up, and so after 14 days, I guess we ordered 2 cases of beer. Because we missed a little bit, as we pretend to be a rock and roll band, a little bit the party. So we decided on the 14th day, okay, let's drink one night. Tomorrow, the record engineer on a Neuron, he should do some down mixes or prepare some mixes. We took mostly a half day off because everybody was sleeping till noon. But all in all, everybody worked really concentrated on this, and yeah, it has to be done like this. Yeah. Actually, I mean, for the younger people, of course, all the new members, they're a couple of years younger than me. They didn't expect that I locked them down in the studio. I mean, they heard from stories. Oh, in the studio, you have parties all every day, every night, and girls showing up and whatever. And so, when nobody expected me to lock them down. And Malte especially said, yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. I expected a different thing. And I said, yes, I can do. I'm the master of disaster. And you signed the contract with your blood. So now fulfill the contract. Just record. Just be there. Just play your music and try to come up with some new ideas. but in the end, they agreed to this thing. And everybody respected. We can't go out there during COVID, and it's not a bad thing to be locked down for 2 or 3 weeks if you come up with to get a result and a good album. It was worth it.
Herman, en el primer round de esta entrevista me contaste que no sos de hablar mucho de tu pasado. Entonces mi pregunta es, teniendo en cuenta tantos años de trayectoria dentro del heavy metal, ¿qué falta por cumplir en tu carrera? ¿Sentís que aún han sido... ¿sentís que hay algo pendiente todavía para el futuro? ¿Sueños, deseos, trabajar con algún artista en particular y demás?
Or maybe, I guess there are a lot of dreams they are not fulfilled yet. It's a journey, and I'm just on one point of this journey. Hope this journey keeps going on and takes for a long time. I would love to have a tour for around the world, you know. I would like to visit a couple of places for another time or for the first time. I've never been to China. I would love to play at least 1 or 2 shows in China, and I would love to come back to South America because they do have the best food, the best steaks, and the craziest people in audience ever. Also, maybe as good as the Russian people. I mean, they're really freaking out. And yeah, as I said, there are so many goals for it. Then I would love to, maybe I would come up for the next, in the next year or the year after, with a kind of Michael Schenker Fest. I do the Frankie Fest. So I would love to come up with maybe 12, 14 songs and use and give 5 or 6, 7 different singers a chance to sing on it and go with a thing like that on tour and maybe do a best of Herman Frank for decades or something. So I would love to play a couple of shows where I do songs from Sinner, from Victory, from Except, from Herman Frank, from Moondog, from every band I've ever done. That would be great, and maybe, yeah, I'm already thinking about that. Maybe it will start. Maybe I'll start working on this next year. That might be a really big dream, yeah. And then doing concerts for 4 hours. Maybe a break in between. Because I'm over 60 now, and I guess after 2 hours I might have a little break for 5 minutes.
Herman, tu guitarra ha servido de inspiración para muchas generaciones de metaleros alrededor del mundo. Y en los últimos años han nacido muchas bandas dentro del metal. ¿Sos de escuchar a nuevos artistas del género? Y si es así, te pido que nombres alguna de estas bandas en la que te has interesado actualmente.
I'm listening a lot of the new bands. Sorry, I can't remember all the names. But that's a good thing on Facebook. Somebody forced me to join Facebook a couple of years ago because they said, "Oh, you have to do promotion on this platform." But okay, I do. But on the other hand, that gives me a chance. Facebook shows me whenever a band releases a new single or something, or a new album, you can watch at least 1 or 2 singles on YouTube, via Facebook or via YouTube. And so I'm always trying to listen to the new stuff, what's coming up. Not all of them. I mean, if there's a band like I don't like that much the death metal thing or something like, or kind of like this, because I can't understand any word. and it's just playing too fast for me. I'm getting too old for this music, maybe. But I mean, there are so many new bands. If Primal Fear is releasing a new album, I listen to them. And if the Pretty Maids come up with something, Tigers of Pentang, also the what is it? Ever. There are so many bands. It's unbelievable. I try to listen to a couple of them. Yeah. But then on the other hand, on the other side, I'm a little bit sick to the kind of style of music I'm listening to. If the new Deep Purple is coming up, I'm definitely listen to the new Deep Purple. Or if the new Scorpions is coming up, as they do right now, I listen to their first single. Yeah, sure.
Herman, en estos últimos años hemos perdido a muchos músicos importantes en la historia del rock. Eddie Van Halen, Dusty Hill, Joy Jordison, etcétera, etcétera. ¿Cómo imaginas el futuro de esta música cuando los referentes del género ya no estén acá entre nosotros?
I guess everybody got a certain time on Earth, so it's obvious that the people have to go. Some people go earlier, some people go later, and nobody knows. I mean, for me, Eddie Van Halen was a real idol, also for my guitar style and for my guitar playing. But on the other hand, I never tried to come up with a cover in public from Eddie Van Halen. I guess we should leave this kind of guitar style and this guitar playing, just leave it up to Eddie. And a good advice for all the people that just try to cover an Eddie Van Halen song: don't give it a try. It will always sound different to Eddie and not as good as Eddie.
Totalmente. Bueno, Herman, para ir terminando con esta charla, invitamos a todos los fanáticos de Victory, tanto de la vieja escuela como a los metalheads que estarán redescubriendo este emblemático grupo, bueno, que disfruten el nuevo disco de la banda, Esperamos que próximamente lo puedan presentar aquí en Argentina, este nuevo trabajo, y te agradezco mucho por tu tiempo con Cuero y Metal.
Oh yeah, sure. I want to say, I was 1 or 2 times on tour with Accept in South America, so I really would love to come back there with Victory because I miss these crazy fans, and as I said, I miss the drinks, and the good food out there. So please give a try to listen to the album. It will be exciting for you, and I'm quite sure you're gonna love it.
Thank you very much.
See you in the next interview, okay?
See you next week.
Okay. If you want.
Thank you, bye guys. It was big fun. Thank you so much for your patience. And as I said, just call me up next week. Oh?